Yo, yo, YouTube! This is my video for today, which is Monday, the 16th of December. And this is the last week I'll be working this year. I want to get 3 good days in like I did last week. And I am currently on my way to my first pickup, which I won this morning. I didn't have a job booked in from last week, and so this was a job that I got about 8:45, and it is picking up from Grantham and delivering to Altrincham in Greater Manchester. It's a small van job. I suspect from the address that I'm going to, it might just be a large letter. So I'm going to a solicitor's. I don't know yet what I'm picking up. I'm on my way to the pickup, which is 45 minutes from my house. It's 25 miles to get to Grantham. And the job itself is just over 112 loaded miles. And I won that job for £100, which I think is a nice, fair price, and I'm pleased to have this job. I'm pleased because I'm going to end up in a good area to get a second job. I'm getting a fair price for the job that I'm doing, and the fact that I didn't have this booked in advance, I got it quite quickly this morning, so I didn't have to wait too long. That was another positive. So, yeah, that's what my day's going to start off like. I am hoping to try and get 3 of these jobs in today, if possible. That's sort of my vague aim. And then that'll be a good start to the week. I'm pretty optimistic that I'll get something positive, something good from the Altrincham area. I'm having a quick look at the map. I think it's south of Manchester, I think. So it's sort of not a bad area to end up in for me. I'm hoping it's quite close to Stockport and Runcorn and Warrington. I'll double check when I get there, but that's what I'm vaguely thinking. That's where I might end up getting a job from when I get there. But right now, I'm just focusing on getting to Grantham. I'm going to be on time. They want me to be there for 10 o'clock. I'll be there on time. So yeah, I'll let you know how today goes. So I'm not usually political on this channel, and I don't want to necessarily upset people with my views, but there's something that's really nagging on my mind, and I just can't help it, and I thought, well, I may as well at least put it out there. It might be something that people relate to, but it might not be. But, you know, I like to be open and honest, and I think it's probably something that I should talk about. And I don't hear it talked about very often in mainstream media or online, and I think it's one of those disabilities, I think, that people overlook in society. And to some extent, they mock this disability, and I think I want to stand up for those disenfranchised people that suffer from this particular problem. You know, you've got people who are sort of shorter than average or bigger, fatter than average, who often get mocked for their physical appearance. You have people that perhaps have mental problems who get mocked for that, for people particularly at school. And I think this is another example which is sorely, I mean, now I'm talking about it, it's quite annoying. I'm really quite annoyed about this. But I'm going to get off my chest and then I'll let it go, and that'll be it. And it's society's absolute obsession against evening people. They love a morning person, don't they? They love a person that gets up in the morning and they're all sprightly and energetic and they're grasping the day and they're going for it. But what about us poor evening people who are really tired and knackered and achy and old and can't cope with it? We've got to fit in with society. We can't get society to fit in with us. If society moved 6 hours forward, we'd be the gods of the morning. We'd be the people that our body clocks had said, you're the people I should aspire to. But no, we're the ones that are left behind and mocked and thought us lazy. I mean, we have the stamina to go to 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning and keep going. Yeah, but we've got to fit in with the norm, inverted commas. So I'm up at, look, it's 9:30 in the morning. That's a ridiculous time in the morning to be up working. And I'm out here doing my best to fit in with society's norms. There, rant over. Thank you very much. Right, update time. It's just a minute past 1 o'clock. I arrived in Altrincham at about 3 minutes to 1. Passed the envelope to the receptionist who signed for it, took a quick photo. But as I was walking into reception, I had a phone call from a bid that I'd put on a job on the way up in the last sort of 15 minutes, and it was offering me a small van job going from Warrington to Stonehouse in Gloucestershire, which I gratefully accepted from the guy. I am 11 miles away, about 17 minutes drive to pick it up from Warrington. Well, I'm just about to go over a very tight bridge, which I came on the way here, so you can see my skills of driving through this small gap. Green light, so I can go. Yeah, I recognise that. Oh, it's gone yellow. What do I do? Oh no, stop! Now I'm going to take a wide left-hand turn, centre of this brick bridge. Everyone around me is clapping. They're aghast at how this van can get over this. And then there's another small gap here. Line it up. Look that posh car in front of me in the eye and say, I've got right away, through and whiz away like a like a superstar. What was I saying? Right, my job that I'm going to now, which is basically no waiting time to drop off into getting this job, is Warrington to Stonehouse. I bid £105 for that small van job. It's going 133 miles loaded, I think it was. And so really, that's put me absolutely on track to do my kind of triangle: home, northwest, Bristol, London, home. Not quite a triangle, I suppose, but it's a paid 3 sides of a quadrilateral. And that, if I do that, I should be able to earn a reasonable amount of money quite easily. So I've done 2 of those 2 sides, be it either a triangle or quadrilateral, and now I'm going to do that job and then get to somewhere near Bristol and find a job somewhere else. So yeah, I'm very pleased about that. I filled up with fuel on the way up. I got a new average fuel price, which has gone down from last week because I haven't because I managed to choose the non-premium diesel this time. But what I have done, actually, while I think about it, is I did stop midway specifically to take a photo of a Shell pump to show the issue in a bit more detail, because all very well me explaining it. And I filled it with fuel at, I think it was a BP, I think. You'll see from the branding on the photo anyway, which I'm putting up, that the BP has 4 pumps, the same as the Shell. But I bet you if you look at that, even from without reading anything, you could probably have a pretty good guess as to which was the non-premium diesel. But you'd struggle, I think, to work out from the Shell one, which was a non-branded diesel. So if I can remember from the photos, this is what they show. In the Shell picture, you've got on the left-hand side, a diesel which is fuel saver, which is yellow coloured. In the middle, you've got 2 red pumps. The first one being diesel, which is V-Power. The second one being petrol, which is V-Power. And then on the right-hand side, you've got a petrol Easy Saver branded yellow. So that means nothing to anyone who doesn't know what those words mean. But if you look at the actual pumps themselves, the handle of the pump and then the bit beneath it, there is actually a hose connector, which I think in the case of Shell is black across the board, and in the case of, and there's also handles with the bit you hold have got little plastic bits on. Now if you compare the other picture, there's the same 4 options, but the left hand pump has got a blue hose connector, and even got a blue handle to indicate that it's not the normal diesel. The normal diesel has got a black handle, this is on the far right hand side, a black handle and a black hose connector. If you look behind the hose, you'll see the black sticker, which is obscured by the hose, but that's a black sticker as well, showing that in that pump is the usual diesel. The other three stickers are all different colours, and for petrol, in most of the time, the pumps are green. So you'll see that there's not a handle that's green, there's a pump connector that's green. And then on the, yes, you got, and then I think it might be a different colour, I can't remember, I've not got a picture in front of me, but there's another colour for the other petrol. But if the hose connectors aren't colour coded, and if the handles aren't colour coded, in this second picture you can see that there are 4 stickers on the pump itself, like the body of the pump, which tell you more details about what's going on, and they are colour coded as well. So my point is, why can't all stations have that kind of colour coding in their handles or the hose connector? To be fair to the second picture, not all the pumps had all those colours. I'm guessing that over time, as they get replaced, they just get a cheap black one to replace the hose connector or the handle. But there's a way in which you can have your own branding as a company, on the pump itself, call it whatever you like, but just have a consistent colour coding. Usually it's black for diesel, green for unleaded, and then it's usually blue for some sort of premium fuel. But the pump that I was at originally with Shell didn't have that, and neither did the one I took a photo of today. One last point, you'll see a little blue sticker on the pump for the Shell, which isn't on every pump. That was just there. It was saying if you're a lorry, you got to press this button, because they won't give a lorry fuel until you give the receptionist or the cashier a payment card first. So that blue isn't about the premium, or not premium, it's just about that particular pump having a button for lorry driver, for HGV drivers. Right, I hope that helps to explain my frustration when I had last week about getting the wrong fuel. Right, there you go. I shall let you know how it goes in Stonehouse. Hi there. So I am in a bit of a quandary at the moment. I've just dropped off my delivery at Stonehouse. I arrived in the area at about 10 to 4, but the delivery address on this app was very misleading. I tried to find the actual correct address using Google and Google Maps and using the label on the box, none of which helped. So I called the shipper, and then I eventually, by a bit of deduction, found the correct place. Shipper called back and told me the same place I just arrived at. So by the time I'd offloaded, it was 4:15. So I looked at CX and there wasn't really any work available. I've checked the drivers around me. There'll be a screenshot to the right of the screen now. And there's a lot of drivers between Bristol and me, and even between Gloucester and me. So I'm really not sure what to do. If I just head back now home without getting anything else, I will get home at about 8 o'clock, and I will have made £143 after fuel, which isn't really enough. So I need to get at least a little job on the way to home. But it's a long way back from where I am right now, and it's getting close to 5 o'clock. It's now 4:30, and there's not a lot of work, and I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, I think. So I think the only solution I have at the moment is to give it some more time and see what comes up. So I need to hopefully get something. I can't even really think about where I could drive to from here. I could drive it towards Birmingham, I suppose. How far is that? So I know. So Bristol is 35 minutes. I'm just off the junction with the M5 at where I am. I went to a village called Eastington, I think it was, which isn't quite Stonehouse. So from this junction to Birmingham, it is an hour and 20 minutes, so that's a bit too far. And then from here to Bristol, it's 35 minutes. But if I head towards Birmingham, maybe, up the M5, that might give me more chance of work. I don't know, not sure. I'll leave it here for a bit longer and see what comes up in this area. It's 4:30 now. I'll give it at least half an hour here, and then I'll probably trundle up north from here, I think, and see whether Birmingham could get me, I think, going towards home. That's, I think, my most likely chance. So looking for a later booking from Birmingham going somewhere eastwards. I mean, even if it's just going to the East Midlands, that's good for me. So that sounds like it's the most likely sensible thing for me to do at the moment. But I don't want to drive away from this area right now. I mean, I'm very close to Gloucester and Cheltenham. There's a job coming up from Evesham now, so that looks like I could get there reasonably quickly. Let's have a look at what that job is. Yeah, that job was Evesham to Guildford, but delivering in the morning. So if it was tonight, I'd do it, but obviously I can't do it in the morning. I'll just check how far away Evesham is from where I am. So I'm going to guess 40 minutes. No, it's 50 minutes. It's still quite a long way. So when I'm on doing this video, I can see a message that comes up that tells me a job and where it's coming from, but not where it's going to. So I have to keep stopping the video and going and have a look before I know what's happening. Anyway, so let me leave this here. I'll let you know how it goes. It's going to be touch and go, I think, about how today goes. I suspect that I'm going to have to be quite patient and resilient to make any sort of money today. I don't think it's going to be easy to get a third job. But just giving up isn't the answer. You've got to keep trying, haven't you? So let's see what happens. Right, updates for you. About 2 minutes ago, I got a phone call for a job that I was offered going from Bristol, which is 35 minutes away, 28 miles. Just a short, small van job going to Swindon. The job itself is about 33 miles loaded, and I've got £50, 50, for that job. And I feel bittersweet about this job. More sweet than bitter, I must say. But fundamentally, this job doesn't really help me very much. I'm going to spend half an hour driving away from home, and then another sort of 40 minutes to drive a bit closer to home from where I end up in Bristol, but not from where I am now. I'll be slightly closer to home in Swindon than I am now, but not very much closer. But I will be getting £50 for that job. It will be adding on an extra probably hour and 20 minutes to my day and not taking me that much closer to home. But compared to the alternative, which is to not have any job, it's better, obviously. It sort of pays for my fuel to get from here to home, but it does make my day quite long. And I did miss out on a really good job. I was 40 minutes away from Chippenham. I put a bid on at 75p a mile for a small van job going to Derby, ASAP delivery. And I didn't get that job. I don't think it was down to price. I think it's probably more down to there's someone closer to it than me. But that would have been a really good job for me to have done. And I could have got there in time. So I was a bit disappointed I didn't get that. And then this one came up. So I will get myself to Swindon. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be about an hour and a half in total so it's now 5 o'clock, so I'm gonna guess I'll be finished by about 6:30. and then I suspect there'll be not very much work, but who knows, there may be a job going to North London that I could do, or Slough. Maybe that's a way of me sort of getting a bit more money to get home, but it will make my day even longer. At the moment, what I'm focusing on is, if I just dead mile it home now after doing this job, I will have made, after fuel, £183, which is much better, much closer to my £200 target than the 143 I was going to have previously. So that's really what I'm focusing on, is at the end of the day, what will I end up as a net profit after fuel, and how close is that to £200? And so that's where that's why I'm a bit more happy about this job than sad about it. Okay, I'll let you know what happens next. Hello there. So last video for today. I've nearly made it home. My job going to Swindon, I was delivering a box to an engineer at a famous chicken restaurant. Parking was quite difficult, and then I had to go up some steps. There's quite a lot of steps up to the restaurant, which was a struggle. I managed it okay in the end, had to rest halfway up the stairs, and then when I got to the actual front door, before I could get before I could say anything, I had to put the box down and have a few breaths before I could say anything to the people I was there. And the guy there said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Not really." And he said, "Can I get some water?" I said, "No, I'm alright, just let me rest." But in the end, the guy who needed the box, I don't know what it was, but it was something for a repair. He said he'd just arrived 30 seconds before I did. So it was very good timing from his point of view. He was pleased. So I delivered that, got that signed off, I went back to the van. So after I delivered to that place, I got myself out of Swindon, looking for work in case it came up on the app. There wasn't really anything suitable. There was a job I nearly did, actually. It was going from, I think it was going from something like Chippenham to London, Chippenham to Feltham. And Chippenham was 55 minutes away, but it was sort of, it wasn't, it would have made my day too long, but it was a nice amount of money. There's also a job that I looked at going from Swindon to Manchester, I think it was, and I thought I could do that maybe, but then I realised it was for delivery in the morning. That would have been a very lucrative job, but again, I thought better off. Obviously, I couldn't do it because it's a morning delivery, but I don't think I would have been on it if it had been an evening delivery. I think I would have thought better of it, but I did look at them and I did think, maybe I shouldn't do those, but in the end, nothing else came up, so I've made my way straight back home. I'm going to get back at about 10 to 10. So, here are the stats for today. So, I did fill up with fuel, and my average fuel price based on that one today is 14.3 pence per mile. Just a quick note about my fuel cards. I've got two fuel cards that sort of compare and contrast. Usually one is cheaper than the other one. I've not used a second card for about 6 weeks now because it's been significantly more expensive than the first card. And I got a message today where they reduced the price of the second card by about 5 pence, but it's still more expensive than this first card that I'm using. So I'm not going to change that. I'll probably get a call at some point from them saying why aren't you using the card, and they know I'm not using the card because they're not as cheap as my other card, but they'll want to know from me what price should they reduce it down to, so I'll start using them. So I don't know, it's a game, isn't it? They play, and one plays that they both play the same game, but at the moment the first card every week gets a little bit more expensive, and the second card every week gets a little bit less expensive, and then suddenly they'll swap over, be a big change, one way or the other, and then I've changed using the card. The same pattern happens. Now the price of now the card that's cheaper will get a little bit more expensive every week, never goes down, and the other card, which is more expensive now, will go down a little bit each week. So they both sort of know how they compare to the other card. It's never that they both go up the same each week or both go down the same. They're always sort of coming to meet each other in the middle, until one of them then calls me and says, "Why are you using us? What can we do to help us, for you to use us?" It's the same old. So anyway, 14.30 pence per mile is my average fuel price from today for this week so far. I have driven today 498 miles, 498. I will have worked for 12 3/4 hours by the time I get home. I've earned an okay £255, 255, from 3 CX jobs. Bearing in mind I had a reasonably late start, as in I didn't have a job this morning booked in and didn't get to the first pickup in Grantham until 10 o'clock. That's okay, but I do think I had a really good start to today. It's disappointing that I couldn't have a third big job at the end of the day, because that would have made the earnings better. I would have always had I would have always had a long day, no matter what had happened by the time I was in Stonehouse. But only having a chance to get a small job from Bristol to Swindon at the end, that's my last job of the day. It made the day tolerable, okay. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad. So my fuel today in total was £71.21. So effectively it's £71, which means that my earnings today after fuel are £184, 184. So I have to be content with that figure. That's not too bad, and I'm hoping to build upon that on Wednesday and Friday, which will be my last 2 days of working this week. Right, I hope that you are being successful, however you choose to find that word for yourselves. Thank you very much for listening to my video, and I shall see you next on Wednesday the 18th. I have got a bid on for Wednesday, which will be a really nice job to do, but I probably got a little bit too high. But it's there at the moment, it's still there. So we'll see if that comes to anything tomorrow. Okay, farewell friends.